Perth, Australia, and SailGP.
How brave are you feeling?
The welcome has been brutal.
Oh my word! Disaster!
Left-hand side of the
collision!
course. Dreams splintered.
Done, guy.
But for others, the fearless have risen.
Pierre's got it right again!
Pressure forged into momentum. Courage rewarded. Could a new team seize the moment and rewrite the hierarchy of power and claim the season's first crown? This is SailGP.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best, yes. Powered by nature, raw passion, all action. When it takes, racing on water, racing with impact. Give it all, everything, give it all, everything. We are racing. When it takes, we are SailGP.
Australia's City of Light becomes the focal point of the sailing world as SailGP kicks off its 2026 season on the Indian Ocean and the shores of Western Australia. Blessed with an abundance of wind and a perfect natural amphitheater, this venue witnessed a first day of racing not soon to be forgotten. Welcome to the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, presented by KPMG.
Yeah, the team is really excited of being here in Perth. The conditions are awesome, and I think we couldn't have a better venue to kick off the new season.
It's known to be super windy, known to have quite a bit of chop and some waves out there. And yeah, I think everyone in the team has been talking about it for the last few months since it was announced.
Perth's an awesome sailing venue. You know, I first came to Perth when I was only 16 years old, and I remember going down to the sailing club every day, no wind, super hot, and I'm like, we're not going to race today. And the next minute, the Fremantle doctor just absolutely thumps in, and we're launching in 20 knots, and you know it's only going to get windier from there.
The Fremantle Doctor is pretty famous around the world, obviously. It's a beautiful breeze that comes in around midday. Because it's so warm here in Perth, it's a nice sort of cooling breeze which cools down you on land, and for sailors it's amazing.
You know, most places where you sail, where you get thermal breeze, you know, the land heats up throughout the morning, the breeze starts to come in nice and softly, whereas the way the Fremantle Doctor seems to work is it's just hot glass, and then you look out and you can see from all the islands, you know, Rottnest Island, there's just this wall of dark water coming at you.
The word is out. This is the hottest ticket in town. 13 international teams comprised of the world's best sailors was quickly reduced to 10 before the end of the first fleet race on day one. Today looks to deliver added drama as more wind is in the forecast. The fight is now on to make it into the top 3 at the end of fleet racing. Alongside former Emirates GBR athlete Hannah Diamond and Olympian Stevie Morrison, I'm Todd Harris. After this weekend's opening event in Perth, the league will remain in the Southern Hemisphere for an additional 2 stops. First in Auckland, New Zealand, tickets are now available, and then Sydney, Australia. Then it's on to the delayed visit to South America and an event in Brazil. SailGP returns to Bermuda and Halifax, Canada. Then it's the 4 stops of the European leg before the final 2 stops in the Middle East, and once again a general final in Abu Dhabi. Before today's first fleet race, let's recap a wild first day of racing in Perth. The Fremantle Doctor was in session as SailGP arrived in Perth.
Brilliant stop!
And we didn't have to wait long for the 2026 season to deliver on drama. Left-hand side of the course, and a big crash in the middle. Switzerland and the Black Fools' first day of racing lasted all of 1 minute before a huge collision sent them back to the tech site.
This is going to have huge consequences to their season.
Well, I think everyone's seen the extent of the damage. Definitely no racing tomorrow for us.
Just not really just trying to blame it on the Kiwis. I think they did their best, but unfortunately it was all too late for them. Yeah, it was pretty scary.
It was all about getting the basics right for the United States on day one as they set out to improve on a disappointing 2025 season with a strong, consistent showing in Perth. Tom Slingsby and his new look Bond's Flying Ruse got their season off to the perfect start in front of their home crowd, dominating the fleet in race 1.
Hey, nice work, guys.
Before Quentin Delapierre and his DS France crew asserted themselves on the leaderboard, opting for a high-risk start strategy.
Delapierre's got it right again!
That paid off in race 2.
A really solid race for the French there.
and it looked like they would be cruising to a win in race 3 before getting mixed up with the Bonds Flying Ruse.
Oh, they didn't see the Bonds Flying Ruse, had to delay their manoeuvre because the Aussies had the right of way.
And welcome to the party, Artemis. Nathan Outteridge wasn't hanging around and making an impact in SailGP, picking up their first ever fleet race win at just the 3rd attempt.
Nice one, Dave. Nice.
And one win wasn't enough for the Swedish team. They would bring it home in race 4 to lead themselves on top of the leaderboard at the end of day 1 in Perth.
You know, enjoyed watching last season from the cruising boat, but yeah, I've been pretty itchy the last few months to get back into it, and to have a nice build up with the training here and then have a really good first day was super fun.
Current standings look like this. It's a 3-way tie on points at the top of the table with the new team Artemis, US SailGP, and DS Team France all fast and consistent. 3-time champions, the Bonds Flying Ruse of Australia and Emirates GBR also even on points with 24 each. And then it's a gap back to 6th, 7th, and 8th with Mubada Brazil, North Star Canada, and Red Bull Italy.
Well, you know, yesterday was great. Today looks even better. We've got another 2 fleet races out there for the fleet today to get things underway. We're going to be adding up the points, 10 if you're first, 1 if you're at the back of the pack. Accumulate all those points and then we'll find the top 3 boats for that winner-takes-all final race that's going to be spectacular.
The mouth of the Swan River in Perth is the setting for today's racing, and the local wind, the Fremantle Doctor, is due to arrive strong just in time for racing. The increased wind strength means a more significant sea state, especially at the bottom of the course, where the boundary is tight to the bottom gate. This is where we saw compression of the fleet yesterday, so getting away from here without incident has to be priority today. The top of the course has more space and provides an opportunity to stretch out, so boat speed and executing manoeuvres well is going to be the biggest factor in success, because the sea breeze is steady in direction, which might limit strategic options for overtakes.
So 13 becomes 11. Spain knocked out on Friday in a practice incident. And of course, yesterday it was New Zealand getting together with Switzerland. Right now we check in down on the water. Olympic silver medalist Lisa Darmanin with a report on the conditions.
The Doctor is in. The wind is pumping out here from the southwest. We have 35 kilometres per hour. Across the course, gusting up to 45 kilometres per hour. Because of the strong winds, we've also got a fair bit of waves, around 1 metre in height. It's pretty bumpy out here just on the camera boat, so I can only imagine what it's like on an F50. Configuration is set up for speed. They have the high-speed foils on, as well as the high-speed rudder winglets. Power-wise, in the air, we're back down to the 18-metre wing, the smallest wing, and at the front, we've got the J1 sail. The teams have been ripping around already, and we have a day of full send racing ahead.
All right, thank you very much, Lisa, as we come up on 1 minute to go before the start of fleet race number 5, and then it's on for Super Sunday. So a little less room today, Hannah Diamond, as one more team, Switzerland, able to get back out after repairs are made, but it will be tight, especially with this wind.
Yeah, that's right. There might be one less team on the race course, but the breeze is up, so it looks like a picture-perfect day of racing.
All right, and now we will see how the dance begins. This is the calm before the chaos here in Perth.
Oh, it's windy out there, isn't it? Have a look at that. The boats are all down towards the bottom end of the line. No one's willing to come to this bottom left-hand corner of our screen and try and light it up a bit. French in the pack, Brazil well positioned, and they look like they could hold on to that inside roll there. It's going to be hard to accelerate the boats accurately in this sea state, and that first leg that we're going to watch, they'll be right on the ragged edge. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on Rockwool Denmark. He's being brave at the top of the line here. They're starting to wind it up. It's a long run up for the Danes. The line's going to tie in white when we're ready to race here. Bottom of the line, it's Canada. Top of the line, it's Rockwool Denmark. Denmark are going to be fast, but they're going to need to be so brave. And look at Red Bull Italy. Straight out of the gun in the middle of the line. Incredible work by them. And they're blasting to Mark 1. Rockwool Denmark have got the fastest angle, but they're going to need to be so careful not to push the boat too hard.
And the Great Dane, Nikolai Sehested, no stranger to speed as he goes over 92 kilometers, and they'll get the whole shot at mark number 1.
Controlling position for the Italians there. No surprise to not see a top speed. This sea state, you just can't risk pushing that hard. Boat handling's going to be crucial. Race your own bone accurately. Look at that. Boats touching down through that sea state.
And turning.
Great manoeuvre by the Italians there. They've got a nice lead. GBR in third. They need a good day. And it's Artemis and France, of course, who are atop that leaderboard. The leaders from day one are struggling in the pack at the moment. Some of the usual names at the front. France lighted up. Delapierre drive it like he stole it. They're sending it hard down there. DS Automobile France coming in hot. They'll have the right of way at gate 2, but it's going to be pretty congested when they come back across.
Touchdown was really costly for Rockwool Denmark, losing the lead to the Italians there. And it looks like they're going to have to come down a little bit to make it to that left turn.
And at gate number 2, the DP World Gate, it is Red Bull Italy out in front. Rockwool Denmark sits in second, and then a last-second change. And look at this, Content Delapierre bringing it in, DS Team France.
Yeah, perfect ley line here. He's going to be a little bit slow out of this mark. GBR should be able to go around the outside. They've got to give France room, but he's going to be able to put a squeeze on him straight away here. France need to keep clear of the British as we approach the boundary. Oh, that was a little bit of bad language there, unfortunately. Communication, still getting that French-English balance on board the boat there as we see the British spin right on the boundary. Top of screen, looks good for the left turn here. Italy well ahead, but Artemis and USA at the back of the pack, and they need a good day.
And Stevie, as the French were tangled up with Emirates GBR, look who comes back. The Bons Flying Roos and Tom Slingsby picking up 2 positions. So now it's Italy, Denmark, Emirates GBR, the Bons Flying Roos, and the French. Your top 5 with North Star Canada now making a move.
Yeah, I mean, it's really a day where you've got to sort of sail your own, but it's really, really hard to sail the boat well today, let alone when there's other people around. So brilliant by the Italians at this point. Like yesterday, they were leading the race, and they looked a bit disappointing how much they dropped back.
There are the event standings right now as it is in the midst of this first race of the day, race number 5. France would be in the lead. Sweden, USA would be the top 3. Remember, the top 3 at the end of the day will race in a one-race event final.
Hey, good move. No problem, Denmark. Just got this mark 1.
Italy well clear here. Great chance for this Italian team to really put down a marker for their season here. Good manoeuvre needed.
I gotta think this puts a smile on the face of Jimmy Spithill, the CEO of Red Bull Italy, Stevie, making the right decision. Phil Robertson making all the right moves right now.
Well, yeah, I mean, I expect he will, but Jimmy knows the race isn't won at this point through, so he'll be enjoying what he sees, but he's probably going to be judging pretty hard here. As we can see, Emirates GBR top of screen. Looks like it's pretty good breeze on that right-hand side. Lisa, is there a bit of a gain on the Emirates GBR side of the course at the moment?
GBR is.
Yeah, massive grain to Emirates, Great Britain. The thing that's happening, it's such a balance here between flying the boat high enough to get over the waves, but then not getting too high. So there's unforced errors happening everywhere out here.
To that point, Todd, we saw the Australians a moment ago touchdown. Emirates GBR are going to spin left here. They're going to have a chance to attack the downwind leg here. They've got space. How are they going to use it?
And similar to yesterday, you've got to be careful of those boats on the upwind leg still coming upwind when you go around that top gate. But big separation happening really quickly on the course here.
So it's a 6-point advantage for Red Bull Italy. Denmark and Emirates GBR sit in 2nd and 3rd respectively. France, who had a great start, are on 4th place. Disappointing, Stevie, to see US SailGP. They've dropped back to 9th behind Germany Deutsche Bank.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we've seen the sort of the evolution. They've had a smooth evolution through the race here. Brazil and USA, it's tight as well here. USA need to keep clear. Oh, he's turned pretty late there. Oh, that's definitely just inside the circle. I think USA were okay, but he pushed that maybe too wide. It was close, if nothing else. But yeah, I mean, it's just a hard day to sail the boat. Probably a lot of the sailors out here will have never sailed an F50 in these conditions, certainly never raced one.
And there are the Swiss as Sebastian Schneider comes through with a new nose cone on that boat after the incident colliding with the Black Foils of New Zealand, and right now they're looking pretty smooth.
Yeah, tough day for them today, I'd imagine. They look pretty shaken up after yesterday, understandably. So yeah, big moment. Emirates GBR, right now Emirates GBR look the fastest boat on the racetrack here. Italians are still doing a nice job. There's going to be another split for the British at the bottom. This right turn did go very well for the Brits last time. Comfortable second, they need it. They need that second if they're going to make the final here, but they'll be just fighting hard to get the Italian boat.
I'll build. Yeah, gate over hill. 5.
can hear Phil Robertson there just saying invert here. What they want is the windward hull, the hull closer to the wind, to be slightly closer to the water than the other hull. Just settles the boat down and gives you max speed upwind.
Great race between the French and the Danish here. Got to have control around there. Brilliant flight control. Jason Saunders on the French boat there. 2 foils in the water on the French boat there. Using a little bit more grip on that windward board. Interesting technique. Potentially slower, but big gain. New tactics and new techniques being developed the whole time for these conditions. And Artemis racing up to 6th. That's the Swedish team. They look like they're in good shape here for the event final as it stands.
So right now it would be France, Artemis, and Emirates GBR in the event final. At the end of the day, the USA would lose out by tiebreaker to the defending champions from last year, Emirates GBR. The race continues on here, leg 5 of 7, and it is still Red Bull Italy. Phil Robertson out in front. The USA's got work to do. They sit in 9th behind Germany, Deutsche Bank, and North Star Canada in 7th. And Artemis in the middle of the pack, just dropping back behind Giles Scott's team.
SailGP team, they're out of phase at the moment. They're going to probably lose a little bit short term here, but that position where Fletcher's heading to, that's where he made the gain last time. Artemis will end up in a similar area of the racetrack here, so Outeridge potentially taking a short-term loss, hoping that'll turn into a long-term gain. But right now, it's hard to see anyone catching Red Bull Italy at the moment. They are flying.
There you see the Rolex chase time, almost 10 seconds for Red Bull Italy, the advantage over the champions from last year, Emirates GBR and Dylan Fletcher.
Here we go, right of way GBR. GBR are on the better wind shift. They're moving up those ladder lines quicker. I think Italy are going to need to keep clear here.
Pressing.
Aggressive from Fletcher. He made that as hard as possible. Sailed a low fast mode. Really pushed the Italians into a bigger move. Italy will have the right of way when they come back together. It's going to be so tight. It's about this maneuver.
So Hannah Diamond takes the wheel momentarily. They make the cross. Dylan Fletcher now on the helm. And look at this. Here we go. Sitting up for a big cross here at gate number 5.
Fletcher can turn left, but it looks like he's going to get around the front here. Gain for Emirates GBR. They've cemented that lead change. Italy have lost the lead. Rockwool Denmark up to 3rd, and the British boat is absolutely lit up round that mark.
And heading back into more pressure. Look at the exit speed for the Brits, over 85 kilometers an hour. Meanwhile, Red Bull Italy on the other side of the course.
So tight in the pack. The Australians were down in 8th. They've got in phase on this upwind leg. Swedish there, Artemis are out of phase. They've dropped back to 7th. Points matter. We know that on this Super Sunday race day. They've got to hope to make a final here, and there's just so little margin for error.
Of the top 3 teams currently on the standings, France are best situated as they are in 5th place right now. Remember, everyone trying to get as many points. Top 3 teams will race off at the end of the day, and the USA really slow coming into that mark. Meanwhile, Emirates GBR continuing to advance their lead, and Rockwool Denmark has now moved into 2nd ahead of the Italians.
These 2 boats are absolutely flat out here. Luke Parkinson, West Australian, actually got himself a British passport, but he flies the boat so well, and he'll be brave. We know he's brave. Sometimes he's a little too brave, but you've been on board with him, Hannah. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, the accuracy that he can fly these boats to is really amazing. And conditions like today, the flight controllers have really got their work cut out to fly the boats accurately as they can above the sea state.
And to Lisa's point, flight as high as you can, but not get too out of control. It'll be a final gate here. Emirates GBR will take the turn, and they will see the finish line. The champions in Season 5 claim the first win on Super Sunday here at day number 2 of the Oracle Pearl Sail Grand Prix, presented by KPMG. The Emirates winning moment goes the way of the Brits.
This is insane at the bottom gate here. Italy have got round. The Bond's flying ruse. Little flip-flop jibe. They've got to be very careful of Rockwool Denmark here. Rockwool Denmark can push them up if they want. It's a sprint here. France are back up in it. How are the boats this close as they come to the finish drag race? Got to be brave on the Ron's flying ruse.
And it will be Australia just ahead of Denmark and France.
Unreal. And that's about 20 meters from a concrete wall. I mean, absolutely insane how hard they're pushing there. Artemis sneaker 6. 7th, North Star. Yeah, as Nathan said, nice fight at the end. I think points are just so crucial, aren't they, Todd?
And we welcome our U.S. audience just joining us at the end of fleet race number 5, the first race of the day here, Super Sunday at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, presented by KPMG, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. What a way to start off the day as the Americans come through. So not the result they were looking for. They finished in 9th after being top 3 after day number 1. Good to see the Swiss back out of the water after their collision yesterday with New Zealand, and Mubadala Brazil will bring up the rear, getting no points. Remember, top 10 get points. Outside of that, you come away with nothing. So Martini Grail and her team will have to bounce back in fleet race number 6 coming up shortly.
I mean, I can't believe how close that race was in these conditions. That was just wild.
And we go back on board the boat that 7 weeks ago we were talking to about winning the title in the 2025 season. Dylan Fletcher and company. Dylan, give us a taste of what it's like out there with the sea stake, and of course the Fremantle Doctor is blowing hard.
It's absolutely incredible conditions out here. That's why we came to Perth Fremantle for the Doctor. Little wing, small config, so yeah, absolutely loving it.
Stuart, hopefully you can hear me there, mate. First time out with the team, no doubt Dylan will be giving you plenty of feedback, but you look really, really fast on that upwind leg. How are you feeling with this new team?
No, it's really good, really exciting. We've had a good few days training here in Fremantle, and yeah, learning lots every day, and yeah, really nice to have a good start in that one and put it together to win the race.
And back to you, sorry, Dill, quick one, but was that an open race course, or is it just a matter of sailing your own boat, or are you actually looking for wind shifts and overtakes that way?
It definitely feels like an open race course. There's plenty of golf out here, and yeah, I think we can brush it up and do a better job hopefully next time.
Dylan Fletcher, Stuart Bithell, appreciate your time, gentlemen. We will see you in race number 6. Congratulations as Emirates GBR wins the first race of the day here on Super Sunday.
We'll take a look back at the start of that first race of the day. Rockwool Denmark leading the fleet in from the top of the line, the bottom of the screen. Red Bull Italy really having the best speed at the start time. Little incident at the back of the race course there. Mubadala Brazil trying to take Germany to task there. But it was Italy and Denmark who led the fleet at Mark 1.
Yeah, it was interesting. Italy did a great job out of Mark 1, and in fact for that whole first lap they were really good, but I think you could subtly get out of shape with the wind shifts and lose a fair bit of distance. People were making mistakes. I mean, look how wild the ride is on board the boat. Imagine trying to cross there. But yeah, the British boat on the upwind leg to me looked really fast, and that's got to be encouraging for the rest of the day.
Yeah, and I think it's one of those days where you've got to be pushing the boat hard to get maximum speed out of each leg of the course that you're sailing on. But it's such a fine margin. You can see when you see the big amounts of spray coming off the back of the boards, if you have a slight touchdown, it takes so long to re-accelerate. So it's a real day of fine margins today.
Fine margin, and again, a lot windier, so the disturbed wind off the boats on these smaller wings less. The race in the middle of the pack stayed so tight. It's going to come down to tight crosses like this. This pressure on this call for Fletcher here, really impressive. Pushes across in front. It's going to be about details and accuracy today, Todd.
So it's Emirates GBR that strike first on Super Sunday as we take a look at the Emirates fly time. 99.9% for the winners of race number 5 and the reigning and defending champions. The Brits get it done in a pressure-packed situation in glamorous conditions here in Perth. So that's 5 races down and 2 more still to go before the event final. It's DS Team France on top by a point, clear of Artemis Sweden. Emirates GBR in a top 3 position. US SailGP team dropped out by 1 point. They'll look to bounce back here in fleet race number 6. Bons Flying Rouge also in contact, and then you got Red Bull Italy rounding out the top 6. And after that, it's going to be really difficult with 2 fleet races to go to still crack that top 3. We are just off and running here in Perth. Beautiful conditions, sold out crowd for the biggest moment here in Perth at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix. Next race coming up in just over 5 minutes. That gives us an opportunity to go down to the judges' box here in Perth and talk with Peter Burling, the driver for the Black Foils New Zealand. Pete, good to have you with us. Sorry you're not out on the water. First of all, give us your impression of what it's like out there from yesterday and what they're dealing with today.
Yeah, I mean, the conditions look absolutely awesome out there today, out the window. You would have seen the last race, but the sea state doesn't look too bad from in here, and everyone seems to be handling it really well. You know, that 18-metre wing and that whatever we've got, early 30s kph wind is a really fun setup to sail.
Pete, it's yeah, obviously really sad that you're not out there today, mate. Yesterday was really scary, to be perfectly honest, and I'm sure a lot scarier being you, but you've had a chance to look at it overnight. Clearly there's always shades of grey in a lot of these things, but what are the lessons you're going to take from yesterday and, you know, long season ahead?
Yeah, you know, I think there's definitely a lot of frustration at our end. Situation that feels very avoidable, and you know, I'm still kind of blown away by the way the umpires have officiated it, considering kind of the opportunities boats had to avoid the contact. But yeah, we've got to live with that decision, and not sure still what we'd do different next time, but got to make the most of this opportunity now of being in the coach booth for a day and making a good plan going forward.
And Pete, now the million-dollar question, will you guys be ready for February 14th, the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix in Auckland?
Well, there's definitely plenty of work to do, but yeah, the tech team's pretty amazing at rebuilding these boats. So yeah, I'm sure we'll be back on the start line for our home event.
Pete, appreciate your time. Wish you the very best, and we hope to see you in Auckland next month, back out on the water with your team.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, powered by nature. We are SailGP.
Just off the coast of Perth lies Rottnest Island, a place where turquoise waters, white sandy bays, and laid-back island life come together. This weekend, the energy on the water adds an extra sense of excitement, making it the perfect time to visit. Explore the island by bike, swim in sheltered coves, or simply take in the views from the shoreline. Whether you're chasing adventure or slowing the pace, Rottnest Island offers a coastal escape that feels a world away, yet is right on Perth's doorstep. It is a beautiful day in Western Australia. It is Super Sunday, event number 1 of the 2026 season. This is the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Todd Harris, Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin with you as we get ready for fleet race number 6. So there is the fleet as we come up on 2 minutes to go. This fleet race plus one more and then the event final, and you want to be in the top 3 for an opportunity to take the event win here and get your 2026 season off on the right foot. Unfortunately, no Spain and no New Zealand. The Black Foils are also out. 1:45 to go before the start of fleet race number 6. And there you see the event leaderboard as it stands right now. It would be France, Sweden, and Great Britain, the top 3, with the USA, Stevie and Hannah, just 1 point on the outside looking in.
Yeah, I think the USA will be disappointed in their performance in that first race today, having such a good performance yesterday. But conditions are quite different. Really difficult to sail the boat in these conditions. And, you know, there's 2 more opportunities to get themselves into the final.
Yeah, I mean, it's tight, isn't it? It's so tight. Australia, as always, Slingsby somehow keeps himself in the fight. I mean, he's got a new wing trimmer on board. Imagine being Glenn Aspie, not sailed for a couple of years. You come into SailGP in basically the hardest day we've probably ever had.
Yeah. Yeah, all good. Okay,
and now the dance begins. 1 minute away from the start of fleet race number 6. 11 teams looking for maximum points. Stevie, the big question I got for you is yesterday we saw France, Content de la Pierre, go to the back of the box and come and thread the needle every single time. Can they do that today with these conditions?
I think it's a lot harder today because to actually hit top speed, to go as fast as you could in these boats on this first leg is just going to be so high risk. Denmark were really brave and they still couldn't really really roll over the top. That position where the Swedish team are there, Artemis SailGP team, they're kind of looking for the shorter distance where you probably don't have to push quite as hard. So no, I don't think it's quite as open today. So here we see Germany leading the fleet back. Canada are the team being brave here, but the Bonds Flying Roos are up the line as well. GBR and Artemis towards the bottom of the line look well positioned to me, but it's again going to be about accuracy. Delapierre well positioned. They're going to wind it up. The German boat turns towards the line. Rolex Pro predictors on the Aussies. How's it going? Go, 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 go. Delapierre, well, he didn't need that technique from yesterday, but he's in it again. The Bonds Flying Roos are lit up here. They are coming in seriously hot towards Mark 1. Can they roll over the top from there?
Pretty tight. I think they'll have to give them room at M1.
Looks like France are going to hold on. That was Tash Bryant on board the Australian boat saying we've got to give them room, but Slingsby's going to try and slide over the top.
Going down.
Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Roos at mark number 1 in full send mode. All 3 boats in the front, over 90 kilometers an hour.
Have a look at it.
Here, please. Stand by.
Set up here, now they've got to cross the boat. It's bouncing around all over the show. Glenn Ashby, well, the footwork's still there, Glenn.
Forward.
Oh, hold on tight.
Oh, touchdown, little slap on the water there.
Get settled. Get fast.
That's an easy one.
Getting spicy, isn't it?
Voice of Glenn Ashby, yeah. I'd say it's getting pretty spicy, mate. Emirates GBR, top of screen. Not a great start, but they've manoeuvred away early. They're going to have the right of way, as are Artemis, when they come back towards the fleet. The British and the Swedes look well set for an attack at gate 2. Bonds Flying Roos need to be on their toes here. They're going to have 2 people coming at them, but DS France, wow, they're going to be looking good at gate 2. I don't think they can quite make the left turn, though. Here comes Artemis. It's going to be contact time.
Okay, Mario.
Oh, Rockwell, Denmark having to take evasive action right there, and look at the bottleneck. Look at the jam in the middle.
It's going to be tight here. Could be a chance for a big lead for the French out of gate 2. They're well set here. It's so tight in the pack. Australia are clear ahead. Denmark are entitled to room. Artemis have got to keep clear of everyone. They'll probably split away here. No, they don't. Emirates GBR split. Wow, it's tight in the pack. Big chance for Emirates GBR with the split at the bottom as the United States dive inside. It's all going on here.
The USA picking up another spot. They come in hot and dip down the left side.
Wow, Artemis Racing did a really nice job on the inside there. They managed to get going, but they're not the best manoeuvre out of that, Mark.
Yeah, I really like the left turn there, because not only if you're turning right, you're in the fleet, but you've also got this hard boundary coming up so quickly.
Quite like the fact you get starboard tack advantage as well when you meet the fleet early on in the leg. It's got so many advantages. Lisa, GBR, to my eye, look pretty fast out there on the water. Do you think they're sailing smart or sailing fast?
Resting here, trying to get over it. That's good, good. Anything's up from here.
I'm not sure if Lisa got that. Lisa, sorry, didn't know if you heard me on that one there, but the British team seem to be doing a very good job of sailing that boat fast, Jen. Is it boat speed, or do you think they're just tactically on the game?
I think they're just staying away from other boats, and that's giving the option to sail their mode. There's no panic on board. You can kind of settle in. But just to describe how difficult it is, these waves, they're really close together. The coordination between the wing trimmer, the flight controller, and the driver is just absolutely insane out here. It is top end, and they're making it look hard, and it's a lot harder than it looks.
Yeah, it's definitely hard out there, but the British and the French, they look really locked in. The Australians and people in the pack are a bit wobbly. I've got to say, the USA right now, if they can't improve on 11th here, I think they'll have missed their chance of making the final. They've got to start working their way through the fleet on the US. Aggressive mover from Delapierre, slams the door shut on the British, trying to slow them down. They'll be disturbed there going onto that British boat. Less horsepower available, so the French should be in control.
Race number 6, leg 3 of 7 is Quentin Delapierre and DS Team France with the lead. Winners of the last race, Emirates GBR, the defending champions, sit in second, and Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Roos have moved up to third. And so right now we've got 5 races complete, 4 different winners. And my question, Stevie, is where is Nathan Outeridge and the Swedes? They're starting to move up now, currently sitting in 5th.
Well, they had a really tight moment. If they were probably 10 metres advanced, they'd be an easy 4th. But they had to dip behind the Danish, and they had a very, very tight call with the Canadians. Oh, he's managed to slingshot inside. It's coming down to the metres. Rockwool Denmark should have a better rounding. They should be able to accelerate down the inside, but Artemis are right in there at at the moment. They look really well set there in 4th place. I think that's very good for their overall. France are going to be looking good on the overall right now. GBR, well, they've got themselves up right into contention here, but the main protagonists are at the front. Back round there, Rottwell, Denmark got too high. Yeah, there we go. Look, Artemis just ahead of the Australians at the moment, but you can't afford a mistake out there. The gap back to 5th's opening up. It's turning into a 4-horse race.
And just in case you're wondering, when they cross, they are tethered to that boat, so they are not going to get thrown overboard. At least we hope not.
No, but you saw from Chris Draper a few days ago. We're on board the Danish boat, bottom right-hand side here. You can see the Danes. Oh, my days.
There it is.
Oh, that was lucky. Kiana went in for a look there. Luckily, she was just the other side of the wing, or she would have had a bit too close a contact. You fly too high and you just pop out the waves. Right-hand side of skiing, France and GBR, it's tight.
Eddie, it has to feel loose today, like for everyone. I promise you.
Not sure it has to feel that loose though, Nikolai. Do you know what I mean? There's the edge, and there's past the edge.
So it's France, Emirates GBR, and the Bonds Flying Roos, 1, 2, and 3. Sweden has now moved up to 4th. Switzerland at a top place in 5th, and North Star Canada in 6th. With the USA, Stevie, you said it, they're now up to 8th.
Yeah, they made some points. They need those points. Surprised the British went wide of the French there. They're obviously setting themselves up for later on the course. So I thought they might have gone in underneath and tried to use that boat speed. They've still got clear breeze. So the British and the France, this is now a real test of strength. And with those two teams at the moment well positioned for the final, which we know often is quite a boat speed race, this will be a real indicator. Here we go. Position at Mark 1. Look at that. Emirates GBR, 8th to 2nd. Fletcher's just not been starting brilliantly this weekend, but wow, he's made some good decisions with Hannah Mills after Mark 1 to work through the fleet.
And when you get this many boats that have this much space, you look at the top 4, a penalty now for Artemis. How do you make the overtake, or do you have to wait for someone to make a mistake?
Well, I think on a day like today, there are going to be plenty of mistakes, so that is probably your best option. You've got to sail your boat as well as you can, and then hope for a mistake from someone else. I think some of these boundary penalties are due to the sea state, because you drop that board, and then you're essentially waiting for the spot, and if it doesn't come just on time, that's when you pick up the penalty.
DS Team France out in front as they come up to the next gate. It'll be through this gate, down to the bottom, and then left-hand turn to the finish line. And Emirates GBR coming on hot. Lisa, what is the favored part of the course right now? Earlier it was the top right side. Now it looks like the wind may have shifted.
Yeah, I think everybody's going to take the right-hand turn here. When you can lay it in these conditions, you just want to take it. Nearly all the teams chose that option, and it also means that they can minimize maneuvers. But it's a pretty tight battle here between GBR and France. Who's willing to push more?
Starting to see a bit of a sort of establishment of the format there today, though, aren't we? GBR looked very fast in that first race. Australia did a nice job. Artemis SailGP team did a nice job as well. And those 4 have actually extended. When we think how fast, how close, that first race was, this one's really stretched out. And I guess what would be quite interesting if we could just get back into the booth, which we can't. But I wonder if the top teams are just better at learning from the first race. So they've all gone out there, it's all happened pretty quick, it's pretty tight, but then we've learned, we've jumped forward on things here. Rottwell, Denmark, I mean, Sehested said, it's going to feel loose, we've got to push. Problem is, if you push too hard like they did, they filled up with water after that splashdown, they're now back in 10th, no chance of the final here. And as we look at it, USA, well, they've still currently just got a chance of the final, but I think it's a very outside chance. They need something, a miracle, really, from here if they're going to give themselves a chance in this last fleet race.
This is leg 6 of 7 in race number 6. One more fleet race to go to the bottom of the course, the top of your screen. They'll make a left-hand turn, and the finish line there on the left-hand side. So if Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR are going to back up that win they had in race number 5, they are running out of time as DS Team France looking very good.
Penalty Germany. Port attack boat not keeping clear. Go behind Italy.
Oh, that would have been a messy one. Yeah, interesting. We saw the British effectively look like they might have followed the French down here, and I think they have to a point, but it's not about winning this race. It's about getting another good scoring point and not doing anything wrong. The French missed a lay line. GBR are going to potentially get it here, Todd. France have got to keep clear. Oh, they've nailed it. They missed the lay line on board France. Emirates GBR, accuracy actually on the lay lines. Any young sailors watching, don't forget the importance of the basics. Here's the Emirates winning moment. That's going to the Emirates GBR team. Snatched in at the finish.
Oh. breaking the hearts of DS Team France as they were looking for their second win. Remember, they won race number 2 on day number 1, but it's the winners of race number 5, Emirates GBR, the defending champions, that get the win ahead of France. Bons Flying Rouge come in for 3rd.
I mean, that just shows you just don't disrespect the basics, but to do the basics well in these conditions is so, so hard. Artemis have done a nice job here, they're in it. Switzerland, good to see them back, 5th place, nice one, a bit of shaking up they looked in the first race, but sailing a bit more like we know how they can.
This will be interesting to see how Artemis, with this 4th place finish, what that does to them in the overall, as Swiss and Sebastian Schneider involved in that incident yesterday with Peter Burling and the Black Foals of New Zealand. They come in a top 5 position, and Giles Scott and North Star Canada, they will finish in 6th.
Nice one. I think what's so interesting is Artemis is, you know, there's obviously so much experience on that boat, but a new team. And then you've got the Australians, so much experience, but they've had to fly in Glen Ashby. But it's still these sort of older hands that have raced this type of boat a lot, you know, that can deliver.
Red Bull Italy finished 2nd in race number 5. They'll have to settle for 7th in race number 6. And it looks like the USA will pick up 1 position, Stevie. They were in 9th, they'll come in 8th, but I'm with you. I think they needed more like a 6th or a 7th to really give themselves a fighting chance here in the final fleet race, which is coming up in a matter of moments.
Yeah, they're going to need a big slip up from one of the top teams. I mean, I'd come back to the fact that it was a great day yesterday for the US, and you know the teams just haven't raced in these conditions, so they're going to be learning a lot out there. I don't see this as like a sudden meltdown or anything like this. It's just a new experience. I mean, Rottwell, Denmark, look at that, back in 10th, and they've come off the foils again there, pushing too hard. You've got to know where the limit is. Find the limit, but don't keep going over it.
Yeah, it's interesting that Nikolai pointed that out, isn't it? It feels loose on board all boats, but you do have to know where that limit is.
I think so, especially when you're foiling. You know, it's all very well. You can't sail around at 60% of your potential. You've got to get to. But if the limit for the day is to sail the boat at 80%, sail it at 80% relentlessly. Don't try for 90 when you know that's not right.
So as the fleet comes home, we are now 6 races of 7 complete before the event final, and it is Emirates GBR that come out swinging on Super Sunday as they take the first 2 races of the day. Races 5 and 6 goes the way of the reigning and defending champions. So now, as you take a look at the overall standings, it's DS Team France. They still sit atop the board. Emirates GBR in 2nd, and Artemis Sweden. Stevie, that's a pretty spicy final if it goes that way. But look at our good old friend Tom Slingsby lurking in 4th place, just 3 points back, and an opportunity now in the next race to get more points for the Bons Flying Rouge and possibly push them into the top 3 and a date with the event final here on home waters. It's all to play for in fleet race number 7. So we go down on the water now and speak with Tom Slingsby and the Bons Flying Rouge squad. Tom, your report card looks as this: a 1st and 8th and 9th, and then 2, 3, and 3. Where have you guys found the consistency out on the water in these tough conditions today?
It doesn't feel like we're sailing too consistently. It's real snakes and ladders. It's all a boat handling game. Yeah, we had a few crashes in that one, a few crashes in the first one. We know if we can do 2 clean laps, we will be off. So that's our goal for this last one, and just got to try to win the race and see how the points stack up after that.
Well, as far as phone a friends go, Glen Ashby is a pretty good phone a friend to have. Now, Glen, I don't know if you can hear me. You're on mic, and we're loving to get your opinion. You quite calmly said it's a little bit spicy out here. If you haven't been sailing for a couple of years, how is it getting back into a bit of SailGP racing now there's a few more boats around?
Oh, yeah, look, Stevie, under the circumstances, just filling in for Goobs, obviously an absolute bugger that he's not here sailing with the team. But to be honest, to step in, you know, with such a great group of people and to have a sail finally with Tommy after about 20 years is pretty interesting. So definitely different than feeding the cows a couple of days ago, Stevie, but a lot of fun, and just hopefully we can keep the wheels underneath us.
Glenn, appreciate your time. Tom, we wish you guys the best of luck in the final fleet race. The super sub, Glen Ashby, getting the last-second phone call from Tom Slingsby, answers the call and arrives in Perth in time to lend a hand. Well, let's take a look at the highlights from race number 6 here with 1 race to go.
And again, it was DS Team France who hit the line with speed at the top end of the line to have an amazing start and lead at Mark 1. They're just really executing that start so well in these top end conditions. From there, it was really tight. We knew there was going to be congestion at the bottom of the course, and congestion there was. From here, it was really hard to see how Artemis were going to make a good rounding here, but just diving in on the inside, a huge gain for them, really showing how they're happy to push in some of these really tight conditions.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so incredibly boat-on-boat skills, and these little mistakes. US were right in the race and jumped up there. Artemis, as you say, they sort of seem to know where that limit is. Rockwool, Denmark, they just found a little bit of too much lively, and what a really lucky Kaya's head was just to the left of the wing there, because, I mean, that was a pretty scary moment, that is for sure, on board, but you've got to know where the limit is, otherwise you can push too hard. Emirates GBR, well, they seem to be all over where that limit is, because that was a slingshot manoeuvre around the outside. Probably not going to be too costly at this stage for the French, but a lesson when we look ahead to that final that's coming up after one more fleet race.
Flying is faster, and the Emirates fly time shows it. 99.9% for the winners of race 5 and race 6. The defending champions Dylan Fletcher and Emirates GBR nearly perfect, and they make their move on the last leg to get it done and to claim the victory, setting up a big showdown in the final fleet race. They are on their feet here in Perth on a picture-perfect day. Super Sunday has arrived at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix. Breaking 100 kilometers per hour was a big moment for SailGP. Let's take a look back at the fastest moments of the 2025 season.
It looks like we're going to set up, it's going to come down to execution.
Yeah, big gust here. Big gust. Rudder's coming off a little. Hey, yeah, try to get low hooks a little. Okay, coming down here in 2, 1. Coming down.
The black foils have got a fast angle. Burling has judged it, pulled a rabbit from a hat, and they're going to be lit up round mark number 1. Lots of breeze, good angle, big lead for the black foils.
Edgy on this side. Very good pushing there.
It'll come down. They'll have been loose as a goose round there, Todd. Now, can they settle things up again? Try and set up for this next manoeuvre, crucial here.
That was cool.
I thought they were nice save.
50. Yeah, nice. A lefty all the way?
Yeah, let's go all the way.
Big gust coming at Mark 1 here, Todd. Watch the speeds at the top of the mast.
4, 3, 2, 1, bearing away.
And at mark number 1, it is Rockwool, Denmark, as they get the whole shot, and they go over 103.
Oh, what a moment. Fastest speed in SailGP ever.
Up on in 3, 2.
Coming down in 2, 1, and coming down.
Angle there.
I copy. Little catch for you.
Nice, Taylor.
And at mark number 1, it is Rockwool, Denmark, as they get the whole shot, and they go over 103.
Oh, what a moment. Fastest speed in SailGP ever.
USA goes triple digits as well.
They'll have been loose as a goose round there, Todd. Now, can they settle things up again?
3, 2, 1, bearing away. Bearing away. 103. That was cool.
Waves crash underneath, sound like thunder speaking. Flying carbon machines, driven by the world's best. Yes, powered by nature, we are SailGP.
Glamour conditions, Stevie Morrison, and this is why the league has come to Perth.
Oh, I mean, sailing in Fremantle is just, it's like a pilgrimage in sailing, really. That Fremantle Doctorate is so famous, and you can just see from these pictures. I mean, it's such a beautiful city. The beaches are incredible around there, and yeah, I was lucky enough to sail my 49er there a few years ago now. But yeah, what a venue, and hard but fantastic sailing conditions.
Just over 4 minutes to go before the final fleet race here at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, presented by KPMG. With SailGP more competitive than ever, team CEOs are making bold crew decisions. For Red Bull Italy, Jimmy Spittle has turned to a familiar face to take over from double gold medalist driver Ruggiero Tita, as the team looks ahead to a more competitive 2026 season.
my history with SailGP is I've been involved since the very beginning. Started off with the Chinese team, very fresh and new to it in green.
Team China, what an awesome result.
We had a great season, then progressed through a few different teams after that, and yeah, here we are.
We are a professional sporting team, and performance is really important. Someone like Roger Tita is a real talent coming through, but at the same time, you know, the results do the talking, and we have to do what's best for the team. And we thought it was good timing to bring someone in with experience in these boats, experience leading a team. I've always really respected and admired Phil, what he's done in his career. He really is one of these well-rounded athletes. He's come from the match racing background, America's Cup, foiling. He's been involved in multiple SailGP teams. From our point of view, it was the perfect time to secure someone with that sort of level of experience that was still out there on the market.
In Abu Dhabi, we did a really good result. The light air was kind of helping us a little bit, just because we were a bit new still to it. But yeah, it gives us a lot of positive energy to go on and to be better every day. I think we can manage to do some good results, and we will push for it.
This sport is not about just sitting back and being passive. But one thing I think Phil has shown is he's not afraid to push it.
Oh, big incident there. Surely a protest forcing its way in there on Besson.
But I'd say, given how much he's matured and experienced, he can really balance that out now.
Phil 5.0, that's how we're calling it. I've come into this season with a completely different mindset in this job as well, and yeah, it's nice. I don't think you'll see some of the antics of the past, but look, I'm not going to lose my character. I've still got that flair and that excitement, and I'll definitely bring it out when we need to. But yeah, look, it's a long season, and it's you've got to build up to it. You've got to take your time. So we're not going to be pushing anything through the roof, but when I need to push, I know how to do it.
So with Phil Robertson back in the fold, we are set for the final fleet race of the day. 90 seconds away. There you see the event leaderboard as it stands right now, with France, GBR, and Sweden would be top threes, and they would make the event final. But there's still one more race to go with 10 points on the line, so a lot to play for here in Perth. 1:11 to go, and here it is. They all get themselves into position, and this is the calm before the chaos, and it will be interesting, Stevie, how France, GBR, Sweden, and Australia play this.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the Artemis SailGP team, Bonds Flying Ruse, Slingsby and Outeridge, long-term friends, possibly also biggest rivals. You know, don't underestimate how much they'll be desperate to beat each other. We've got a little bit of the onboards comes from Australia that says, whatever the race, we've just got to sail clean laps. And talking of clean laps, left-hand side of the screen there, Artemis are already had a bit of a bad manoeuvre. There'll be water in that boat. It won't be as easy to take off. There's a penalty on the British boat. They're going to have to start behind the fleet for going a bit outside and too wide. France well positioned. Bonds flies rules, so the British need to be behind the fleet when they get to Mark 1, that's for sure. United States needs a good race if they're going to have any hope, but Artemis SailGP team at the moment have a problem because they are way out the back and the Bonds Flying Ruse are well positioned here. 10 seconds to go. Rolex Pole Predictor sits on board Denmark. Switzerland are coming in seriously hot at the top of the line here. Look for the line to turn white. They're going to have to get the timing right. Swiss look perfect. I like where the Bonds Flying Ruse are though. He's going to be able to drive hard over the French, and he's going to desperately want to cling on to the inside position at Mark 1. Here we go, game time.
Canada and Australia inside.
Check out the contrails on the water as they approach mark number 1. It's Australia, it's Canada, and it's Switzerland, all trying to find room.
Canada, what a job there. They've got to keep it going. Bonds Flying Ruse so tight on the inside, and Artemis are way out the back here. The Swedes have got some serious work to do if they're going to have any hope of making the final, because the Bonds Flying Ruse are not renowned for making mistakes when they've got the final in their sight.
You see the French, the Italians, and the Germans turn away to get out of that jet wash as they make the turn, and they hopefully can lay it all the way into the DP World Gate, gate number 2. Right now it is North Star Canada. Giles Scott, the driver, out in front. Second place belongs to Tom Slingsby and the Bonds Flying Ruse, and then a big gap to the rest of the fleet.
It's quite a long first downwind leg, isn't it, Hannah? It looks like they're all going to have to do a few manoeuvres, so that potentially is a great move by the French, because it could be 2 jibes for everyone.
Yeah, I think they're really happy to manoeuvre away as we look on board Artemis for that first jibe of the race. They got some catching up to do, but if we see the compression at the bottom of the course again, there are so many options available.
Look at this right now. It would be Sweden that would get in. Artemis Racing would be in. And now look at it. Back and forth they go. So GBR moves ahead of Artemis. So it's Canada, the Bons Flying Rouge, and France right now, the top 3.
Yeah, Artemis definitely need the fleet to slow up, and there's a group there that are going to have a lot of race management to do here. Germany look like they've broken the overlap there. I think they're going to be clear, but Switzerland, Denmark, all got to watch out. Swiss are looking pretty loose coming in there. They're very high on the foils. They're just going to miss that mark. Whoa, he just swung it round the outside there. All the boats have got a bit slow. United States have got to give room for Mubadala, Brazil. Emirates GBR quite calmly split the court left. They're going to break away, and Artemis need to do some overtaking. USA are going to be slow after that roundup. They've filled up with water, and the pack's tight, but one thing that's not tight, North Star Canada are down the road.
Artemis looking to make up some ground. They sit in 11th place. They quickly pick off US SailGP, and so they will move into 10th, and now they will start to climb the ladder. Meanwhile, it's DS Team France out in front, Australia second, GBR. That would be the top 3 if the race stays this way.
Yeah, and I think GBR has made a big gain.
Penalty Brazil, not giving room at the boundary, go behind Switzerland.
Okay, so I think what's important to remember here is with Australia being so well positioned in 3rd, for Artemis, their race really is with the Emirates GBR team. The Swedes need to get back past the British to have any hope, and right now that's not looking good, because the British were the fastest boat in the first 2 races, and they're making big gains. So here you go, there's the replay coming into the mark there. This is actually a different incident than the one they got the penalty for, but it just shows quite how tight it is diving at these marks.
Martini Grail bringing it in there tight, forcing the Americans wide. Meanwhile, it's Giles Scott. North Star Canada had a good run last year mid-season, but could not sustain that consistency, and they fell off the pace. But right now, they are out in front. Here comes DS Team France in second. And right now, it is Tom Slingsby just hanging on, Stevie, currently in 3rd.
Yeah, I don't know if you sort of look at the trail off the back of the boat, so you can almost see a curve in that, can't you, Hannah? It's like there's been a big right-hand wind shift for a big part of that race, and the Artemis team, they're just way out of phase with the shift. You can just see they're having to sail wider angles, and they've lost quite a lot of distance up here. You get out of phase early on a leg, and it's so hard to get back in shape.
Yeah, I'd say they're out of phase with the shifts, but they're in sync with the rest of the fleet, which just makes it so much harder to overtake. They've got to be faster and execute better manoeuvres, but the gains in that are smaller than if you can get out of sync with the fleet, pick up a good shift, and that's an easier way to get round boats.
Let's not forget Artemis on day number 1 won races 3 and 4, their first event as a team. Nathan Outer is doing a great job there, but they're finding they're going a little tough today, currently sitting in 10th. They're going to need some help. They're going to need to pick up some spots rapidly. It is still Canada, France, and Australia 1, 2, and 3.
I'll stay out of the wake here. 3, 2, 1, coming down.
Lisa, it looks pretty hectic out there still. Has the sea state got any worse as the day's going on?
Keep coming down.
Yeah, it's just getting worse and worse. So as the wind builds, the chop is building, and it's quite shallow close to shore, so it's getting steeper and steeper as they go down. The other thing is it's bouncing a little bit off the seawall. So, you know, these are top-end conditions. They're really tough, and the fleet is improving, but, you know, it is SailGP. Anything can happen. Rockwool Racing, once again, they got too high and fell off the foils. So Artemis, they're just trying to pick up points, but it's looking pretty tough for them right now out here.
It's really tough, isn't it? I think the other battle, let's remember this is a season-long championship, so yes, it's about making the top 3, but we saw on the results there that actually Canada, by winning this race, North Star have got themselves right in the potential of a 5th or a 6th at the overalls here, and really these points in the mid-table can be crucial as the season goes on. So for North Star, amazing last race, they need to put things together. Glenn Ashby, well, it sounds like come Tuesday he'll be feeding the cows again, but right now he's hoping to feed this Australian team a place in the final, because the Bons Flying Rouge executing really, really well here. Not making much inroads on the French team, but in terms of making that final, they look well set.
Jet, no wing there. Okay, they're following.
It is Giles Scott and North Star Canada out in front. Doing a great job with Paul Campbell-James, Andy Hager, the wing trimmer. They haven't won a race since last year. You go back to season 5, they won in San Francisco, won the event in Los Angeles in season 5, so they're trying to get back to that form, and right now they're looking very good, but I think there's too much damage done early, Stevie, as we got a tight incident there with Germany, Deutsche Bank, and the Italians.
Oh, and the Italians have got a double. Oh, my days! Well, if this is Phil Robertson in safe mode, I can't wait till he gets into the season a bit more. That was wild coming in there, trying to do a little flip-flop jibe at the bottom mark in about 20 knots of breeze. I mean, that's solid stuff, as we can see. Emirates GBR, again, got themselves space. Artemis Racing, there was opportunities, but unfortunately they've not been close enough to take them. I think we can see our finalists at the moment, because I just can't see the Swedish getting their way back in from here.
So it's Artemis following Mubadala Brazil and US SailGP. Americans have moved up to 9th place, and Artemis picking up a penalty, so that's going to just about crush their chances.
Yeah, I'm not surprised picking up a penalty with that incident with Mubadala Brazil there. They've got a bit of work to do. The fleet is still quite close together, and if they can just keep the pressure on, maybe they can pick up a couple of places, but it's looking less and less likely as the race goes on.
That penalty should come off relatively quickly, though. Okay, we're going to get to go back on board that Italian boat, I think, and have a little bit of a look here.
This is Phil 5.0.
Yeah, it's just Phil 5.0. Here we go. So he's on the, trying to just look to do a right turn, and that's all very late. Germany forced them to do the manoeuvre late. 2 foils in the water. There's obviously potentially a lot of lift around, and right there was a little bit too much. I mean, there you go. It all stayed upright. Doesn't look like anything broke, but wow. That was pretty tasty.
Phil Robertson, Red Bull Italy, testing the limits of SailGP technology. Meanwhile, Giles Scott and North Star Canada sailing a beautiful race as they come up on 86 kilometers an hour after that rounding. And there are the French, DS Team France with Quentin Delapierre, looking very good in second place, not stressing at all.
Yeah, and I think second, third and fourth are going to be the 3 teams going through to the final here. They're well ahead. Artemis SailGP team too far back, top right-hand corner of our screen. There's the standings as we go to the moment. And yeah, it's pretty comprehensive at the moment. The Australians have gone really well here, and they've managed to move themselves up today. It's been a solid day.
So to Lisa's point down on the water, this is SailGP, anything can happen. You look after yesterday, races 3 and 4 with Artemis winning, Stevie. It looked like they were a lock for the final, but after 2 bad showings in races 5 and 6, they find themselves in a big hole.
Yeah, and not even bad showings per se, but you know, I think this is a notch up condition-wise. Bear in mind they've had very little training. Yesterday was much within the comfort zone. I think this is probably at the top end of anyone's comfort zone, let alone a team that are trying to find each other.
Yeah, the first day their report was a 9th, a 2nd, and 2 first place, and today, and you are exactly right, a 6th is respectable, a 4th is respectable, but that 9th is really coming back to haunt them as we are leg 6 of 7, and it will be North Star Canada making the final turn and heading for home, so they will pick up the win here, but it'll be a little too late for them to make a dash for a top 3 position. But congratulations, the Emirates winning moment in the final fleet race here in Perth goes the way of the Canadians.
Off that final buoy. There's a rope hanging off that final buoy.
Yeah, I mean, it's not been the best weekend for the Canadians, but I think actually they might come away with a pretty solid overall result when you look at the season ahead, and to win the last race is obviously a great fillip. DS France look really good. Lee McMillan, yeah, first final, Contan saying there. So that's pretty good. Actually, the 3 teams going into this final have all got new wing trimmers on board. So no team is a set. And they're all having to learn each other, but they've done a pretty impressive job as the weekend goes on.
Glenn Ashby comes in and, you know, no problem, we're going to the final.
Yeah, straight into it.
Emirates GBR, the champions from last year, finishing 4th, but that's good enough to get them into the final as well. So Dylan Fletcher, Hannah Mills, and that crew, very talented, and they are back in another final. Nice way to start off their defense campaign.
Yeah, and you know, I'm pretty happy for Stuart Biffle, to be honest, if I can say, just purely because it's such a big job coming into a new team, filling in for Ian Jensen, you know, coming into defending champions, and they're right in the mix straight away.
So the rest of the fleet comes in with Red Bull Italy holding on for 5th. Rockwell Denmark will take 6th. Switzerland will hold on to 7th, just barely ahead of Germany.
Yeah, good. It's been a big first weekend for the Swiss, and I think, you know, they'll be glad to have just got themselves back, remind themselves about some normal racing, and hopefully calm down going into things.
Oh, and a tight rounding there with Artemis and Mubadala Brazil, and it looks like it's going to be very close. And
yeah, Artemis have got to stay clear there.
And it will be Brazil. Really? Maybe?
It's going to be tight. It's going to be a sprint.
This is for 1 point. How about this?
Oh, I'm surprised the Brazilians didn't give another little push up there. Martini was kind. I think she might have just about got across the head anyway, but she could have given one more push.
So the entire fleet is home, and we have finished 7 fleet races here at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, and now it is on to the event finals. We take a look at the final standings. Who has the top 3 points? No surprise, DS Team France into the final, as is Emirates GBR, and the Bonds Flying Roos somehow find their way in again, with Glenn Ashby being flown in just the day before. Says, you know what? No problem. The cows can wait, and he brings them into a top 3 position, with Artemis just missing out as they finish in 4th. US SailGP, good performance. They finish in a top 5 position. And we go down on the water, and it is France, DS Team France, that gets it done. A new wing trimmer, new additions, new paint job content de la Pierre, but a nice result. You guys are into the final.
Exactly, I think the whole team did a really good job to be ready for the first Grand Prix of Season 6, and super pleased to welcome Lee and Bruno Morniac with this first final, but we need to win it now.
Yeah, Contan, well, my only feedback from watching your onboards is Lee needs to learn choquer the foc to ease out the jib out there out on the water. It seemed to be a big bit of feedback from him yesterday. What's going to change when we get to the 3-boat final?
I mean, it's we need to start in front. The Brits and the Aussies are quick, so I mean, I expect the position to be a little bit locked in after the start. So yeah, I mean, full focus on the start.
Contan, bon chance to you and the team. We are excited to see you, and we know you'll give us a great showing. So it is DS Team France into the final with the Australians and with the Brits.
And we take a look back at the highlights of this final fleet race of this event, and it was North Star Canada who really nailed their time and distance for this start. So fast at start time, and then pushing all the way to lead at Mark 1. We knew the fleet was going to compress at the bottom gate, as they have done in every other race so far, and with it being so tight to the boundary, that was going to be a really key part to the course. Some big players, Emirates GBR and Artemis, out the back after leg 1, so they had a lot of work to do. And if you can get a bit of space on the course, it makes it so much easier to settle the boat down and make some gains. And there were some top teams who really needed to do that from early on.
Yeah, it definitely was hard early on, but I think the British did a nice job here because they looked a little scrappy early on the leg, but they did manage to get that left turn and then just put themselves in space, top of screen there. They found so much space. I think they were just willing to do extra manoeuvres, just confidence in how they're flying the boat. Luke Parkinson, I think, big player for that British boat today, but of course, as much as these 3 races have been great, they're only going to mind about the result of this last one.
And the Emirates fly time goes the way of the Bonds Flying Roos, nearly perfect at 99.9%. Remember, the start of this race, they were on the outside of the top 3, and Tom Slingsby does enough to get them into a position where they are going to fight off for an Oracle Perth title. Beautiful day here in Perth as the teams get ready for the event final. What a way to start off the 2026 season. It will be Australia, France, and Great Britain. So there are the teams. Stevie, it's going to be a quick debrief, get some hydration, and then it's a full send moment.
Yeah, and I don't think it's as big a reset as it has been in other races, because I think in this big breeze, there's been space to get your boat speed down, and it's going to be still about sailing your boat. But I agree with Contan, the start could be more important, and Slingsby's been starting well out there today.
If we look at the crew lineup for the Australian team, there's so much experience on board. They've obviously got Glenn Ashby in just for this weekend. And it just goes to show how experience is so key in this kind of racing. We talk about giving people experience racing these boats. You've got someone who's come out from a lot of time away from these boats, but he was so key in the development of all of this equipment and tech. So being able to step back into those wing trimmer shoes, and it's going to be a huge moment. 3 boats on the start line of the final.
Well, it is, and you know, I think they're going to be going up against the champions. And the champions, I thought they might struggle with a new team lineup coming in. You know, Stuart Biffle's stepping in as wing trimmer. I mean, you know, you're obviously bringing an Olympic gold medalist, someone that won an Olympic gold medal at the Tokyo Olympics with Dylan. But really for me, as much as we've often talked about the strategy and skills of Hannah Mills and Dylan Fletcher, Luke Parkinson for me today, I think, is really the main player. Him and those two big grinders, Neil Hunter, Nick Hutton. There's plenty of horsepower around that boat, and they know how to use it. So it's going to be a big moment for the British. I think they could get it done.
And with 2 minutes to go before the start of the final, we take a look at the #1 seed coming into today's Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, and it is DS Team France. Jason Saunders, Lee McMillan, new addition, Manon Audonay, and then Timothy Lepau and Bruno Mauriac. The two big grinders up front, Stevie. It looks like, and it sounds like from his voice, Quentin Delapierre is very excited to get back out there and race with the Fremantle Doctor.
Yeah, I listened to the onboards. Quentin's on there speaking French, he's speaking English, he's doing it all. But I think with Bruno Mauriac coming in as a jib trimmer strategist, I think that's a nice addition to the team. And then Lee McMillan's been sounding very calm on board. He'll be excited to be in a final.
Okay, they are going now.
So 1:20 to go until the start of the event final. Who will take the maximum points here at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix, the first event of the 2026 season?
Interesting here. I think Quentin and Slingsby both like to make the first decision. They lead back in. Fletcher will react to where they go, try and make it work for him.
All right, Hannah, with 1 minute to go, if you were one of these teams' drivers, where would you start in the start box?
Well, I think we've seen the winners so far come from the middle of the line, but there's so much more space here, so it's going to be about pushing really hard on leg 1 to make sure you're leading at Mark 1.
And Stevie, to Hannah's point, there's a whole bunch of room now. 8 boats are out of the way.
Yeah, a lot of room on the course here. Oh, Australia got a boundary penalty straight away. Massive error. They just need to start in behind everyone here and set themselves up for a good position after Mark 1. Perfect control with Emirates GBR at the moment. It might be possible for Fletcher to squeeze the French way out over the top. Think maybe the French are safe. It's going to come down to an acceleration battle, and I think how happy they're willing to be to push towards Mark 1. Fletcher still has control. Slingsby must be behind when this start happens here. Rolex pole predictors on board. Emirates GBR. They're way away from the line. Here they go. They wind it up on the British boat. Boats are going to be coming in hot here. The French are hanging in. Look for the line to turn white, and we're going to be go. It's go time in Fremantle. Emirates GBR perfect at the gun. They've got their bow forward and they're on the inside. They have to leave from here, but look how hard the French are pushing.
Okay, stand by, bang away.
Here we go, Slingsby's cleared his penalty here. He's going to look to slingshot down off of this mark. He's going to try and dive inside here. French should be able to wind it up and look to dive as well. But Emirates GBR, total control at Mark 1.
Coming down for me.
And at mark #1 in the event final, your Rolex sprint leader, Emirates GBR, and now the race is on for a title.
Big first manoeuvre coming up here. They're really fast on board Emirates GBR. They've done a nice job. French have been forced out of control by the Australians. They split away. Bond's Flying Roos are in it. Slingsby will keep it tight early on here.
First is good. Angle. Nice, good angle for the build. Let's get a good build in here, no lower.
Nicely done there for that first manoeuvre on GBR. I think the final is going to be a lot about the mapping, taking the shortest distance around the course, minimising those manoeuvres, minimising the chance for error.
Yeah, and we saw it's a big rotation left in the wind, so both Australia and GBR got a lot further down the boundary than we saw there. So the British are well set for a left turn with no more manoeuvres, so I think they'll be pretty happy to go that way if they can. Slingsby surely is going to look to split away right and block in front of the French. 2 boards in, late turning. If they are going to turn right, he's opened the door for the French team here. No, he's following the British. He's keeping it tight. A little bit surprised by that, but if he's that determined to go that way. Lisa, the Australians seem fairly determined to go on that left turn and follow the British. Is there that big a wind shift?
Copy everything for a build.
I don't think so. I just think generally that turn has been paying off, because then you can do the long leg over to the left and approach the next gate on the right. This real long-term thinking is paying off. The thing for me that is critical out here is who can get up and running out of each manoeuvre. If you get a bit wobbly out of each manoeuvre, that's where people are losing the meters.
Good angle for the build.
Copy that. Yeah, it is very hard to manoeuvre accurately in these breezes. Looks like a gain for the British on the French at the moment. Australia are being patient, very, very patient at the moment. He's following, hoping the British team make a mistake.
Feels like he's heading all the time again.
Right of way Australia here with France. France are going to get themselves some spefs in a minute here. They have the space, but they're in third at the moment, and they really are needing a mistake from the British. Stewie Biffle sounds pretty calm on board that Emirates GBR boat, Hannah, for a first final with a new team.
Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't feel that calm inside, but it's a lot about keeping the comms really nice and calm, making sure you're giving yourself the headspace to make those right decisions and sail the boat as best as possible.
Halfway through the event final here in Perth, it is Emirates GBR, it is DS Team France, and it's the Bonds Flying Roos 1, 2, and 3. How will they fare in the second half of this event final? Stevie, the defending champions, Emirates GBR, came into this race with a lot of momentum, winning races 5, 6, and finishing 4th in race 7.
Yeah, I mean, they've looked rapid on this smaller wing, and I do think it's a little bit of a sea state thing. I mean, Jason Saunders on the French boat. We see a little curve in the French line there, and the French are progressing up those ladder lines well. Definite right shift for them. Small gain, but potentially the British will be able to do a right turn with no more manoeuvres, and the French might have to take a left turn here.
Okay, we are crossing them now.
Well, there goes France, tight in front of Australia. Australia will get on the inside, and the France need to watch out. If they get overlap, France have got to be careful. You've got to keep clear, Contan. You've got to keep clear.
Oh, they're going to hit the protest button.
Oh, it's really tight. British did manage to get away on a right turn, I think. Yes, you can see their entrails there, and the British are gone. Big gains there for the Brits. The French almost were back in it. That penalty was for not keeping clear, but it will wash off immediately. There it goes. And Emirates GBR, well, it's easy to make a mistake, but they're going to have to make a mistake to let one of the teams in. I mean, it's so nice, Hannah, if everyone follows you around a mark.
Yeah, for sure. It just means you're so much more in control of the fleet. But in these conditions, you have to nail all of your manoeuvres, and the margins are so, so fine, so they won't be feeling comfortable just yet.
Emirates GBR the first to turn away, then the French, and then it's Australia. 1, 2, 3. That's how they sit right now. Halfway through is down to the bottom of the course, back up, then down, and then the left-hand turn to a title.
See how tight those average speeds are there. The Oracle Cloud telling us what's going on out there. And of course, average speed is so crucial. The Australians doing a nice job of sailing a bit less distance. That's how they'll be ahead. If you're not going as fast, you've got to sail less distance to do that. But the French, they know how to push, and they just got themselves out of shape with 30 seconds to go to the start. But this one's not over yet, although Emirates GBR look pretty well set right now.
If you can get right turn here, super strong.
So that's the coach coming from on shore.
I think that was at the top gate though, Todd. I think that was at the last gate rather than here, because the left turn at the bottom has always been stronger. So I think that might be slightly delayed from Robbie Wilson, because they were talking of left turn on the upwind. Hannah was saying that. There we go. We've got a split coming from the French. Slingsby's being patient here. Everything we can, but they're going to need it more than everything you can, I think, Tom, because you're going to need a real bit of magic on this upwind leg if you want to win it. Oh, France have put it underwater though. Big splash down round there. It's struggling on board that French boat. He's trying to push the limit.
Starting to feel like it's quite hard work on that French boat. They've just got a little bit out of whack. They've been so smooth all weekend. But if there's going to be a time to be smooth when there's more space on the course, the final is it.
Let's go down on the water. Lisa Darman, and Lisa, with just a leg and a half to go here, is there anywhere, anything the French could do or the Australians to catch the Brits?
Oh, I hate to say it though, but the British, they've looked good all day. I think, you know, the Australians are a little bit wobbly out here, but the British, they're just executing their manoeuvres. They're looking really locked in. So it really is, if they make a mistake. In saying that, the Bonds Flying Roos did close the gap a little bit, but Emirates Great Britain looking pretty strong here in Fremantle.
That's tough for Lisa to say that, but Stevie, she's dead on. The British are not making mistakes.
No, and a really good stat we've had to come in is the British have not gone backwards in a race today. So they've not actually lost a position around the course. They've not been winning the whole time, but when they've put their nose in front, they've been pretty unplayable. And that Rolex chasing time there showed that it's really, you know, that's a big lead in these conditions. And to be frank, whatever they're doing with their boat setup, be it flight control, be it wing trim, be it steering, I don't know, but they are faster.
Dylan Fletcher, stocking with Hannah Mills, Stuart Bithell, the wing trimmer.
Yeah, well, that's 3 Olympic gold medals at the back of the boat, so that's, you know, the decision making on board should be reasonable.
Quite a lot of conversation on board there, and you think, you know, they're doing 56, 57 kilometers an hour upwind. They're really calm in their decision making and planning kind of what are the other boats going to be doing, and then how do we best defend against that in these conditions.
Now look at the speed now. Just under 90 kilometers an hour as they exit.
You go, Han.
Here we go, real good manoeuvre away there. The Australians are going to try and split the course and see if they can find something. But let's remember, points are crucial when we get to Abu Dhabi. So the Australians, the Bonds Flying Rouge, are going to be desperate to stay ahead of DS France here because it's just crucial, these points, when we come to the end of the season, any point counts.
First event of 13 as the 2026 season is off in beautiful conditions here in Perth. And there you see it, look at the numbers. Emirates GBR 100% on the foiling.
Yeah, we heard Contan say super lefty. So when they're sailing these boats, they go downwind so quickly, they'll actually be overtaking that wind that they're sailing in. So it should be good news for the French team early on here. Should be a potential game. We should see the French able to progress down those ladder lines well, and potentially they'll sail through that lefty all the way and catch up with the righty in front of them. And it could be perfect phasing for the French to give them a shot. But at the moment, the Bonds Flying Rouge are hanging on. Gain to France, right away with France, but I think the Aussies are ahead just. Oh, that's tight. Oh, that's really tight. Right, one more manoeuvre for France. The Bonds Flying Rouge, they've got to do, oh no, sorry, two for France. It's a right turn at the bottom this time. Emirates GBR are going to wind it into the finish here.
And it is Emirates GBR that make the right-hand turn. They see the finish line. Emirates GBR open the 2026 season with a spectacular title defense and get the Emirates winning moment.
So good.
So tight. Look at the top of the screen there. French, two manoeuvres. They're going to be slinging round. The Australians are going to be faster, but they've got to keep clear. Right of way, France. Boat speed with Australia. It's a drag race for this point and second place. Who's going to cross the line first? It's maybe going to be the Australians, is it?
Oh, the Bonds Flying Rouge!
Wow. Wow. What a finish by the Australians. They changed it up with a right turn at the finish there, keeping us on our toes. But yeah, what a moment for the British. They're pretty excited. Champions in 2025 season, 2026 season, showing they're not going anywhere.
Thanks, Honey.
Yeah, I think they'll be really happy. And again, it's about building momentum for the season, so they'll be super happy to start the season like that.
Well, they end the day on a high note. Emirates GBR wins race 5. They win race 6. They place 4th in race 7, but when it counts, they get the win in the event final. Dylan Fletcher, congratulations. A nice way to defend your title from 2025.
Absolutely incredible start to the 2026 season. Felt on the back foot yesterday, but really proud of how the whole team came together today and delivered, and great to get the win for Parker on his home bit of waters.
Yeah, Dylan, I was going to say that. I think for Parko, you know, West Australian there, flying the British flag very well at the moment. So, yeah, congratulations to Parko. About a week ago, I said there was no person in SailGP under more pressure than Stuart Biffle. Stuart, how'd you feel proving me wrong, mate?
I didn't hear you say that, Stephen, but yeah, it's quite nice to settle in this week with the lads and Han, and yeah, feels great, feels good.
It's a quick turnaround for you guys. Up next, it'll be New Zealand. You'll get to celebrate this one, but you guys seem to have success in the big win. And Dylan, congratulations on making the call. This Biffle character seems to be working out.
Thanks, yeah, good. Plenty to work on, but we'll keep chipping away all season.
Appreciate your time and congratulations. Enjoy the celebration. So it is Emirates GBR, the winners of last year, that claimed the first event of the 2026 season. What a final here in Perth, and at the very end, what a finish as the Bonds Flying Rouge able to get ahead of DS Team France. Tom, it was not the result you wanted, but a top 3 is always a good thing, and what a race to the end. Take us through the whole weekend and how it went, and of course, give the flowers to Glenn Ashby on the super sub status.
Lenny, mate, he did such a good job. Yeah, like to fill in these conditions. Yes. I mean, you saw today even wing trimmers with like 5 years of experience. SailGP was struggling so much. Lenny jumps in, he's had 2 days now, and look at him go. So to get second place, when you consider we lost our wing trimmer a day before the event, yeah, only Glenn Ashby could do that. So yeah, we're very happy with the second place with all things considered, and yeah, we're off to a flyer.
Well, Glenn, you'll be glad to get back to the cows, no doubt, mate. But what does it mean to actually be back on board an Australian team, performing in front of home fans? What's the atmosphere like there?
It's incredible, Stevie, and you know, very, very lucky to be sailing with such a great group of people. To fill in for Goobs is an absolute honour, and you know, the team is setting itself up for a great year. So very happy to help out, and yeah, trying to get my heart rate down, mate. To be honest, haven't used my legs like that for quite a while.
Glenn, appreciate the time. Congratulations to you, Tom Slingsby, Tosh Bryant, the rest of the crew. You're probably going to get a call from Ryan Reynolds or Hugh Jackman, I suppose. Yeah. So let's take a look at the highlights of an amazing event final here at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG.
Yeah, and it was the Bonds Flying Rouge who started with the penalty, which left Emirates GBR and DS Team France to fight it out on that first leg to Mark 1. Emirates GBR taking an early lead, just getting their bow out in front of the French team to take the lead at Mark 1, but we knew that first manoeuvre was going to be all important when it came to finding that bottom gate mark.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the British just did a really nice job last into the start box. They picked off the French. France will be disappointed that they let the British line them up there. And you saw coming away from here, they just were pretty smooth and calm, and they turned a 20-metre lead into a 50-metre lead. And then, yeah, as you said, Hannah, execution. Look how hard the footwork is there. Neil Hunt around the front. I can't imagine the G-force they're under.
No, and I think that's why it's so important to have these manoeuvres really, really dialed in, especially in these conditions. It makes it look easy, but I promise you it's not. Just crossing the boat in these conditions can be really challenging. Super close moment between the Bonds Flying Rouge. Aggressive move, as always, by Tom Slingsby, really pushing for every centimetre on the course, making the most of all of the rules that he can, which allowed them to get ahead, but it wasn't over at that point. There was still a couple of manoeuvres, a couple of pace changes to come.
Yeah, I mean, there was plenty of action the whole way round, wasn't there? But Emirates GBR, they were clinical, and it's about metres, it's about points this season. Everything counts.
Well, this is how you win a title in Perth. You go 100% on your fly time. Look at that beautiful photo. Well done across the board. Emirates GBR, they win the title, and they win the Emirates Fly Time Award as well with a perfect score at 100%. And there are the winners as they will be heading to shore to pick up the hardware, and then the celebration can begin in earnest in Western Australia as we take a look at the results after one event of 13. It's a long road to November in the Middle East, but right now the champions are still champions as they get the first win. So there it is, 10 points to Emirates GBR. They'll start their 2026 campaign on the right foot. Bonds Flying Rouge and Tom Slingsby with Glenn Ashby, the super sub, coming in on short notice. They finish in second. And a great showing for DS Team France, Content de la Pierre. Artemis in the running as well. Looked like they were going to make it. Welcome to Nathan Outridge and US SailGP team. Wow, top 5 for them. Well done.
And let's take a look at the sailors who have named the Rolex Precision Athletes of the Day. From back in the fleet racing, we have Nikolai Seierstedt, always aggressive on the start, and when he gets time and distance right, we know they're a force to be reckoned with. Hannah Mills, strategist, again becoming one of the favourites of this Athlete of the Day award, winning the title in this event here in Perth. For me, Glenn Ashby, he's the sailor of the fleet for this Perth Oracle Grand Prix.
Yeah, absolutely. What a role to step into that. And now we're going to get to have a little look here at our DP World fastest speed. Well, Rockwool Denmark, they were fast and they were loose, that is for sure. 93.61 kilometres now. They were fastest and they were the most on the edge today. That goes without saying. Someday out for them.
So we turn the page. Event 2 takes the league back to a familiar location that last season delivered the biggest crowd of the year. Mark your calendar for a Valentine's Day showdown at the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix, Auckland. The city of sails will once again transform into the city of SailGP. With the race stadium set to be even bigger in 2026, tens of thousands of fans will be on their feet for Peter Burling and Blair Tuke's Black Foils. Sailing is rooted deep in Auckland's history. So get ready for where thousands roar as one. So that will wrap things up. A successful opener in the 2026 season for SailGP at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG. On behalf of Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, and Lisa Darmanin, I'm Todd Harris. Emirates GBR rule supreme in WA. We'll see you in New Zealand.
And there's been a huge crash. Brilliant stop.
Inside the course, and a big crash in the middle. All three boats in the front, over 90 kilometers an hour.
Oh my days.
There it is.
Go! It's go time in Fremantle.
Emirates GBR open the 2026 season with a spectacular title defense.
So good.
And for those of you still joining us via the internet, as the champions have made their way to shore, and now they will head to receive the prize giving, and the fans, they're still pretty enthusiastic, Stevie and Hannah, and why not? Picture perfect weather.
Yeah, I mean, it's some
a
day
beach
out.
day.
Yeah, and it's perfect day sailing. I mean, it's spectacular, wasn't it? We had some incredibly close racing. We had some good tactical racing. Australians, they'll probably be a little bit livid that there was a British team winning, but I guess it's only a couple of weeks since we had the cricket, so they won't be that disappointed with that either.
Yeah, I don't think we could have asked for a better way to start this season. Some really close racing, some action from yesterday, close boat-on-boat action, but a great way to start the season.
Well, one thing we hope is that everyone can heal up as Chris Draper and Goobs and the rest of the folks that took a hard spill here in Western Australia are back and ready to go in less than a month's time as we get ready for the next event in February 14-15. That's the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix in Auckland, where, Stevie, you know there'll be massive crowds on hand like last year, and they will be excited to see their team, hopefully the Black Foils, back on the water.
Yeah, I mean, things happen, don't they? You heard Pete's opinion. It was a tight opinion, different to the umpire's opinion. Of course, that's the way often with top-end sport, isn't it? You got to believe in yourself and what you do. And yeah, it was a really sad thing to not have Los Gaias, to not have the Black Foils out there racing. I mean, two of our top teams. But that race course in Auckland was just unreal last year. It's very small, right? So quite different to here. We had plenty of breeze. It's small and shifty. Really congested, but yeah, I think the Black Foils will be back. I don't want to say back with a bang, because that obviously wasn't the sort of bang we wanted yesterday, but I think they'll be back, they'll be ready to go, and still got them down as a real season favourite, but they've obviously put themselves on the back foot.
Yeah, I think it could be quite a windy start to the season. So we've got Perth, then we've got Auckland, then we've got Sydney. So potentially 3 windy events. And we definitely do have some sort of formed teams when the breeze is up. Some of those teams maybe a bit newer, maybe a bit less experienced on the board, really struggle in those conditions. But like you say, a smaller race course, slightly different priorities, but what a great weekend we've had here so far.
And the winners of this event almost to the stage as the fans are making their way there on a beautiful beach day here in Western Australia. Stevie, you look at the scenics from around this area and the islands and some of the coves and stuff, like, why would you not want to be in Perth this time of year?
Yeah, I mean, some friends of mine from Exmouth are out there. They work with, the Armstrong wing foiling company, and they've been out there doing this, holidaying and sailing around out there. They've been on Rottnest. The whole area around there is incredible. Right. Sailing my 49er there was amazing. The kite surfing's incredible, and there's a Little Creatures Brewery, which is a local brewery right next to the marina there, and certainly I found that a pretty good way to wind down after a day's racing.
Get yourself a pint and watch some Liverpool?
A little bit of that, Todd, yeah, a little bit of that. Certainly there wasn't quite the crowds there for the stuff I was doing. So no, I think just for everyone, and we've seen the pictures of Perth and the whole area, and obviously Fremantle, but we've gone up the Swan River, and it's just stunning, isn't it? Might be a little bit hot for me, but yeah, no, I think you could definitely enjoy that.
And Emirates GBR, your former team, win the title, but you look at the parity. Australia got to win, France got to win, Artemis got to win, and Canada got to win. So it's not one team that's running away with this thing. There's 6 or 7 teams consistently that could walk away with an event title.
Yeah, I think the more this league goes on, the harder it is going to be to win multiple races. I think we're going to see more and more teams have the possibility to win races, and that's just going to make the points get harder and harder to accumulate. So it's only getting tighter at the top. The teams who are at the bottom at the moment, they have access to all of the information that the top teams have. So they are so easily able to access that learning to make sure that they're better at the next event. And with so many events on the calendar this season, it's only going to get tighter.
Well, the beach party continues with the Rue crew as they wait for Emirates GBR to get to the stage, and then they will get the trophy as winners of the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Stevie Morrison, Hannah Diamond, Lisa Darmanin, and Todd Harris with you as we wait for the champs to get their trophy. Fans continue to make their way down beachside. Stevie, I think this is the closest we've seen fans be able to get this close to the award winners, and might even get cooled off with some bubbly.
Well, I think certainly probably the furthest I've seen the sailors have to walk for this. They're definitely being made to work for their prize money. Fairly probably hot walk in your wetsuit, I'd imagine, through there. But yeah, I mean, there's going to be some extra energy on board those British sailors for sure, because it's worth it if you're going to get that money, isn't it?
All right, as they get ready to get to the stage, we want to take a look at some of the great racing from Super Sunday. Let's go back to race number 5. Again, a race that was won by Emirates GBR.
Yeah, we can see Rockwool Denmark really leading off the start there, but some close incidents between Germany and Brazil there. Really having to work the boat hard if you want to lead at Mark 1. But just a touchdown from Rockwool Denmark coming up in a second steals that lead and gives it to Red Bull Italy in that moment.
Yeah, well, I think as well, this to me was the first showing that, hang on a minute, Emirates GBR are doing something pretty special here, because they just got a bit of space and basically dropped the hammer. They accelerated away so quickly. Red Bull Italy will be disappointed to have lost the lead again, but they were up against a seriously fast machine.
And this is race 6.
We had North Star Canada leading at the bottom of the line, but there was 2 of the hot contenders who were struggling out the back of the fleet in this start, and Bond's Flying Rouge, DS Team France and Canada were leading early in that race.
Yeah, and again it was a split, wasn't it? Top of screen, Emirates GBR, they'd actually been 8th at Mark 1, got a little bit of space and they split, and you can just see when all the boats come together at the bottom of the screen, it's so hard to stay at full speed, so easy to make mistakes like the US SailGP team did there.
But this was the moment when France had been leading for most of the race, and at the very last gate, Dylan Fletcher in full send mode, slingshots around DS Team France to get the win. So we always say this, Stevie and Hannah, you can have one bad race, you can't have 2, and that was the playbook. Emirates GBR, their worst finish all weekend, 7th.
Yeah, and I think the start here, Hannah, when you talk about the start, but for me it was top left-hand side of the screen there. Artemis had made a mistake there that pretty much put them on a back chance for the final.
Yeah, and it's so often happens. If you have a bad start and you're able to catch up, you can salvage that race. And the top teams, especially Emirates GBR, are able to do that. I think maybe that's where we've seen a little bit of weakness from Artemis Racing, with them just being newer to the fleet as that team. They're going to have to work on how they recover and make it back to pick up some points.
Yeah, Bond's Flying Rouge there, of course. I mean, it's had plenty of praise, hasn't he, Glenn Ashby, but that was some job to step into the team. And as we see North Star getting a race win, it was the Australians really did impress.
And this is the final, the start, with Tom Slingsby and the Bond's Flying Rouge getting a penalty early on. And look at this, Dylan Fletcher wasting no time punching it.
They're really pushing the boats to the limit on this first leg, you know, reaching 90 kilometers an hour at Mark 1. Let's not forget how top end these conditions were. Just crossing the boat is so tricky in these conditions. Pulling off those maneuvers under pressure, it was all about who could execute them better.
Yeah, and just the foil flying, you know, I do think the flight controllers today were the sort of MVP on board the boat, really. I think Luke Parkinson, you know, when people dive into the data, I'd imagine the consistency of the height he was managing to fly the boat was the best, but Jason Saunders, Jason Waterhouse and Jason Saunders, Australia, and France's flight controller again. I mean, you know, the boats look really locked in, and when you think how smooth the boat looks compared to how bumpy the sea state is, just shows you how accurately they are able to lock it in, and, you know, not a lot of love lost out there.
No, that's signature move from Tom Slingsby. He will never give an inch on the course, even on the final. And, you know, unfortunately for France picking up a penalty there, but a lot of today's racing was about how can you keep the pressure on and wait for the boat in front of you to make a mistake. And that's exactly what happened at the bottom of this course between 2nd and 3rd, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was tight. The French had to sort of try and do something. They ended up diving inside at the bottom gate, but it was Slingsby then used his extra speed to again just do a last-minute slingshot through.
So that's how the action played out. There are the final results. Emirates GBR, the winners of last season, start up the 2026 campaign with another victory and 10 points. Great finish for the Bons Flying Rouge, the Australians finishing in second. And DS Team France, the new squad, they finished, the new squad, I should say, branded Delapierre finishing in third place. Artemis doing a great job right out of the gate. They finished in fourth, just missing the big event final. And US SailGP team, Stevie, for my money, maybe the best showing, the best improvement from last season.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, they looked really, really good yesterday. Today was a different condition. They'll have, well, hopefully, they should have learnt a lot from today. So next time they go out in these conditions, they can move things forward. But I do think it was a real step up and a real change in scene. We saw that with Artemis Sweden. You know, they didn't look as sharp or as polished in the boat, understandably, today. But yeah, for me, the US SailGP yesterday with the team of the day, 3-4-3-4 as their result card showed them yesterday. That level of consistency is what's going to get you to a high performance at the end of the season.
Now you see at the bottom, Switzerland not getting any points after they missed out on a lot of racing on day number one. Able to get back today, so tip of the cap to the shore crew. Los Gallos unable to go after their incident on Friday when they damaged their boat in practice. And of course, the Black Foils of New Zealand causing that collision with the Swiss. Their boat damaged, unable to get it repaired in time, so they will look to the next event, February 14th and 15th on home waters in Auckland. Well, still waiting for the champions, Emirates GBR, to make it to the stage for the prize giving. The fans, they don't seem to mind. Why not? You're in Perth, you're on the beach. Could be worse.
There we go. We've got to get ourselves a Roo Crew t-shirt. That looks quite...
there we go.
Oh, there we go. They found a way to save themselves some energy. Still in those wetsuits, though. Imagine there's a group of, a group of British moving through Fremantle like that, having just won on Australian waters. They might be getting some interesting feedback. But yeah, they're making the most of that journey towards the stage and saving the legs. So nice to see.
Surely that golf cart can go faster.
Well, you thought so, wouldn't you? Quite a lot of them on it is the only thing. And Neil Hunter and Nick Hutton are big units.
Plus all those gold medals.
Wow, that's true, yeah.
I think one of the really cool things about SailGP, like sailing used to happen far out to sea. SailGP is really building a fan base. Every venue we go to, there are hundreds, thousands of people queuing up to meet the sailors, get their eyes on the action. And that's something that's really, really changed in the lifetime of all the sailors that are there competing at the moment.
All right, they are almost there, and then they will be on the stage, and then it'll be Chris Celia, the Senior Vice President of Oracle Japan Asia Pacific Tech and Customer Strategy, that will hand out the trophy and the prize money. I'll tell you, talk about the prize money, Stevie. It continues to flow the way of Emirates GBR.
Yeah, I mean, I imagine there's some mortgages getting paid off pretty quickly there. That is for sure. It's been a good boat to be on recently. Well, you know, there's basically between these top three boats, $800,000 shared out this weekend. You know, and when you think they're off the back of having just won a winner-takes-all $2 million final in Dubai and the season, that was another serious prize purse. Yeah, I mean, it'd be a good job to be an accountant for those teams at the moment.
Starting to look like the Morrison family account as they continue to pile up the cash. Stuart Bithell will take the Union Jack and make his way onto the stage. Dylan Fletcher next up. And the rest of the crew now is there. So there are the champions at the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG. It's Emirates GBR that take the title.
Yeah, well, it looks like Luke Parkinson, Nick Hutton, they got their champagne glasses on. Luke Parkinson will be happy there. Middle of the picture where he's actually taken his sunglass goggles off there. I thought they were for the champagne especially. But yeah, he's from this part of the world, you know. He's a local boy, and it's going to be a pretty special moment for him coming back. There's bound to be a lot of friends and family in the crowd, and yeah, big moment.
Parko rocking the Crocs.
Yeah. Got him set in comfort mode.
Nice version of God Save the Queen, and now the celebration.
God Save the
King, excuse me. Got the memo. So now the presentation can begin. As we mentioned, Chris Celia Senior Vice President of Tech and Customer Strategy for Oracle Japan Asia Pacific, will do the honors. They're gonna let Parko get a grip of that.
Yeah, nice touch. Yeah, that's a nice touch. A big moment for Parko, that. There'll be no doubt about it. He's won a lot of things, but I don't know if he's ever won anything as big as this right on home ground.
I think, like you said, Stevie, the pressure was really on Stu Bithell this weekend, joining the winning team from last season from Germany, Deutsche Bank. But I'm sure.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. They've done this before.
Oh, there go the goggles. Look at that. That's a man that's spent a lot of time on a podium.
That's a professional move right there.
That is a strong tactic. Neil Hunter, not one to learn, it would appear. You can see him already trying to wash out the eyes. Dylan again struggling. There you go. Age and experience from Parko on that one. What a great, sorry Hannah to interrupt there, but I totally agree. Yeah, I mean, Stuart, I really feel, you know, moving into a team that's coming as champions, you're the only change. You're going to be pretty judged on the results from that. And, you know, today they were the fastest boat out there, and often that boat speed comes down to how well those two on screen there, Biffle and Parkinson, can find each other. You know, how much power do you put in versus how much how much foil do you stick in the water.
So a trophy in hand, it is official, and the day is done. It is Emirates GBR that come to Western Australia and get it done. On behalf of Stevie Morris and Hannah Diamond and Lisa Darman, and I'm Todd Harris saying so long from beautiful Perth. You've been watching the Oracle Perth Sail Grand Prix presented by KPMG, part of the Rolex SailGP Championship. Next up, February 14th and 15th, it's the ITM New Zealand Sail Grand Prix from beautiful Auckland. So for now, we say so long. Congratulations to Emirates GBR.
And there's been a huge crash.
Brilliant stop. Inside the course, and a big crash in the middle. All three boats in the front, over 90 kilometers an hour.
Oh my days.
There it is.
Go! It's go time in Fremantle.
Emirates GBR open the 2026 season with a spectacular title defense.
So good.